Welcome, welcome in, everybody. We're just getting started. This is the topic for today. Why does real British history upset the English the most? I feel in the conversations that I've been having that colonized people, including myself, we're less upset than English people that they're actually facing the truth of their history. Like we are very, you have one of the most posh accents. Well, this is colonization. This is exactly what we're talking about today. So yeah, I was born and raised in Britain. This accent was pushed upon my parents, actually upon my mother, who was invited as part of the Windrush generation to the UK. And that accent was pushed upon her in the classrooms. The Grenada is the island that my mother was from, which was first colonized by the French. So they had French accents and could speak French language when they came to the UK. The UK teachers, London teachers, hated the fact that these kids had French accents. So they made them speak with English accents, which has gone down to me and my family, my sisters. So that's the reason why I end up with this accent. There was colonization in the classrooms. Yeah. So to me, it seems very, very interesting and funny that English people seem to be the most stressed about British history because they have been taught to glorify it. I know it because I've been in the education system as well. And it was all being like, yeah, we were the best. Everything was great. But of course, they didn't tell you anything bad what happened. They were erasing history as they went and only telling you about the good shit. So yeah, but as I'm doing this TikTok page and it is about English people, they seem to be always the ones that are crashing out the most. And when I see a comment section, it's always them being like, yeah, well, we did this and we did that and we were the saviors and we're the best. All while having very, very bad spelling and little money in their pockets. They've been basically the ones to push the propaganda of the British the most. We grow up in these societies with English people as our friends, our neighbors. Inti, good to see you. As our friends, our colleagues, in our relationships. And so you hear a lot of this conversation, of course, from those people, not from the government. I'm finding a lot of deflection in my comment section. So I'm not proud to be anything. I'm proud to be me as a human being, Reg. I am just a human being. I don't need to attach myself to a country, to a culture, to any of those things. I'm just a human being of Earth. And I'm proud to be me in the body that I have, with the mind that I have. Yeah, I'm just proud to be me as human. My dad's from Nigeria. Yeah, Yoruba land. Yes. So yeah, John says the UK spent thousands of years searching for spices that can't seem to season their food. That's right. Yeah, we all say that one. Was that a generalization about white people? Who's mentioning white people? Did I mention white people there? I said English. No generalizations about white people here because you lot generalize black people. I don't do that. Don't project onto me, Triple B. The topic here is British and English history. You don't have the ability to separate black people. That's your problem. I talk about English people that happen to be white. I even have a TikTok video about this on my page. There were 6 European countries that were completely different from countries like Slovakia, Slovenia, Albania. Those white countries, Central Europeans, except for German, and Eastern Europeans did not do what the Western Europeans did. So you are the ones who are generalizing there, Triple B, because you are not able to differentiate different groups of people. Well, the topic that I have here today says, why does real British history upset the English the most? Okay, so where I'm coming from with this is that there are certain groups of people within the English tribe that are very triggered by the truth of history. So I don't want to go too much down genealogy because those people who are triggered will know exactly why, or they should know why this topic would be upsetting to them in particular. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Steve Gold, what would you like to add to the topic today? You can unmute yourself now. Hello, how are you?
Yeah, good. Yeah, thanks for having me on. So I'm not going to, talk about, hundreds of year old genetic English descent, but I just want to ask you, why are you attacking our history? What's this revisionist rant you're having?
Why would you think it's an attack, my dear?
Because it's aggressive. You're actually attacking our history. You're being very racist, and sitting there with your big smile, thinking that's okay to do that.
Explain the term racism. Explain why you feel attacked. Explain all these comments. Where are they coming from?
Because I've just heard you ranting and raving about British history. You were mentioning some really harsh words there, beginning with R, and it's disgusting. And
What
you
are
should be
words?
ashamed of yourself. Because do you live in England yourself?
No, I don't. No, I don't even live in Europe.
So why are you attacking our history then? Why are you being racist towards English? And why are you talking about our lineage and our history?
Steve, I need you to actually explain what exactly is racist about talking truthfully about your history, and why you, as a strong Anglo-Saxon man, would feel that talking about history is an attack on you. Why?
Because you're not talking about history. You're making accusations about English history.
What
And to be honest, you're
accusation?
literally just trying to wind people up. And you've wound me up because I'm English. And I
Okay,
don't
what
like people like,
accusation?
I don't like people ranting and raving and using revisionist nonsense like you and
Okay, I'm
attacking
hearing a
British
lot of
history, because I'm
Steve,
very
I'm
proud of our
hearing
history.
Steve, I'm
I'm
hearing a
very
lot
proud
of
of our
I'm
history, and I
hearing
want to have
I'm
people
hearing a lot of
bad mouthing
buzzwords.
it. I
I'm
will not have
hearing a
people
lot of
bad mouthing
buzzwords.
my English history because I'm
I'm
very
hearing a
proud of it.
lot of buzzwords here, accusations, racist, blah, blah. But you can't actually explain what I've said that makes you feel that way. Like, tell me
Because you just sat there
what is an
and
accusation that I've
accused,
made?
you just sat there and made a blanket accusation about English history, saying it was barbaric, the R
Was it
word.
not? Was it not? I never said it was racist. I never brought up
No, the
racism.
R word. No, there's another R word, which I'm not
What
going to
is the
say.
R word you're talking about?
No, you're on about grape.
Yeah.
But it was. Are you going to deny it?
Yes.
What? So you're going to deny that there wasn't rape, but there was not rape.
Name one incident of that.
Do you know that even in World War II, and I know this is going to upset
Nonsense,
you,
straight away. Straight away
in
nonsense. See,
World War
revisionist
II,
nonsense. Racist
well,
ranting
the
from...
thing is, Steve, I can actually prove everything that I say, okay?
The
Proud,
English have
just
had
relax
enough.
yourself. We've had enough.
Take your English,
We've had
anti-English...
enough. We've had enough of your ego, of your
The English have
arrogance,
had enough.
of
We
your
have
ridiculous
had...
history.
Steve, don't let her get to you, man.
She's got to me, I don't care. We
Yeah, well,
have had enough
don't. Like,
of
you
our
sound
history
like a
being
pussy,
attacked.
don't.
We have had enough. Listen to
no.
my words.
I don't need to listen to your words, my dear, because I've just said something. So
The English are pushing back
you cannot control yourself, Steve.
our
Because
history.
the thing is with me,
I'm pushing
Steve.
back.
Right, I'm dropping you, Steve, because you can't control yourself. When I say something online, okay, or when I say something, I bring the evidence to back it up. You just said that there was not
I ain't
great
seen no evidence.
during World War II. Can you mute yourself? Look, guys, just relax a minute. Just relax a minute. Okay, so you can see here, right? British soldiers and German mercenaries. So this is actually just to do with the American Revolutionary War. Okay, I'll go on to World War II. But it says here, British soldiers and German mercenaries accompanied them by raping American women and girls during the American Revolutionary War. Okay, then it goes down to say it was committed by British and German soldiers alongside other atrocities such as looting and the destruction of property. A Continental Army colonel described British rampages as involving murder, rape, rapine, and violence.
Could we hurry up as well? Because I don't have all the time in the world to listen to the crap.
Goodbye. Let me go up to the top of the article here. This is called the Rape of Berlin. Okay, so this is about World War II. If we go down, this isn't the article I was actually looking for, but it says 70 years after the war ended, new research on sexual violence committed by all the Allied forces, American, British, French, as well as Soviet, is still emerging. Okay, so everything that I say, I always back it up. Why does the real British history upset the English the most? You had two people already crashing out. If you don't want to be here, you don't have to be here. Deleted account, I know who you are. Deleted account, everybody, is somebody who keeps coming up and is a massive troll. They are very emotional. This is 3 times they've come up now on different accounts. I did a video yesterday about literally English people needing a lot of mental health therapy for free. Like the NHS gives it for free. But we have people like Deleted Account who keeps coming into these spaces that triggers them. Why? You could literally block me. If you don't like what I have to say and you don't like me as a person, block me. I'm not forcing you to be here. I don't go out onto the internet and say, follow me. You can come to my space. I don't do that. I have my platform and people who are interested. Thank you, AJ. Good to see you. Thank you so much. You know, you don't have to be here. No one's forcing you. Nobody is forcing you. Inti and AJ, let's bring you guys up. What do you guys think about the two people who were just up there, especially Steve? I mean, what a crash out.
I love a crash out, I do. I love it. And you know what I love about the crash out? See, a crash out when someone lies on you or lies about something and then it like, ooh, that crash out is justified. But how can you, and this is what makes me laugh, how can you crash out over facts? And like, I don't get that. But I do get it because what we've seen, especially over this new political climate that's going on, what we've seen is British people, the English, clearly don't know their history. They know, they've been told a fabricated part of history. Yeah, they've been told that they were part of the slave trade, but there wasn't. They're told more about how they abolished it, other than what they did during it, and how they were very instrumental in installing it, and all the racisms and schisms.
Can I quickly interject there if you don't mind, mate?
What I do mind, actually. Thank you.
I'll wait. Don't worry.
Yeah, let's do that. And I think because the English don't know their history in the day, because unfortunately African history has been altered because of European history.
Yeah.
And the English don't realize and don't understand just how much damage they've done around the whole world, and actually continuing to cause the same amount of damage. And I think when they hear the full story of their history in its entirety, with all the nasty bits in between, fucks, if I'm honest, I would crash out too, because to find out. Now, listen, how would it make you feel finding out that you've come from the longest line of illegal immigrants, invaders, plumishers, apists,
Yeah.
killers, like
Like the Jews.
And especially because their history and their propaganda, has made it seem like that's bad. Like they've literally made it seem like everybody else was doing it and they didn't do any of that. So you're absolutely right there. I think
it's also told as a story as we went over there to be nice and dandy. Because even a guy said the other day about how, in India, we built them trains and railways and roads. Hold on a second. No, what you did, you built transportation so you could move the goods and people a lot quicker and easier. This was nothing about, when we've dead and gone, they can, like when we go on holiday and we have some stuff, and then we have some stuff that we're preparing to leave behind for our people at home. Like this wasn't that. This wasn't, we'll build this railway station, and when we finish with it, they can utilize it. We'll build this railway station that's quicker for us to move people and agriculture. So, and again, when you hear, if I came from a long line of the world's biggest unalivers, the most biggest essayers, the most biggest immigrators and migrators and illegal settlers in the world, trust me, I would probably crash out too.
Yeah. And we obviously saw that right there with Steve's mega, immediate crash out. Immediate, really, I personally would feel very embarrassed. And Steve, I think you're still in the chat there. I've just done a video, which I really think you should watch. It's going to trigger you a lot. But as I said, therapy is important. Really, really. Steve, you weren't there when all this stuff happened. You've made it very clear that you lot weren't there when this happened. You weren't there. So why would you be that upset by us talking truthfully about the events that you weren't there for? Because you want to accept all the good stuff, but you don't want to accept the bad. It doesn't make sense. It literally does not make sense, because all you lot do constantly is project onto me, I'm black, of African descent, and you want to say stuff about my people. But I didn't even say much about you people there already. And immediately crashing out. You wouldn't listen to anything, didn't want to hear, understand. Like, really, you're so in your ego, Steve, that you really could do with therapy. This is not to be insulting to you. This is just truth. I've had therapy myself. Everybody needs therapy at some point because this life is complicated and difficult and not easy. It's not easy. So, Steve, please go and look up the NHS website. It'll be very helpful for you. MDL, do you want to bring your comment in there now because you wanted to say something?
Yeah. So when AJ was talking about the slave trade, I know a group that rarely ever gets brought up that profited off a lot was the Jewish people. They profited an immense wealth from it. And even to this day, I mean, in my personal opinion, most of the West is controlled by Israel. I mean, look at Donald Trump, look at Keir Starmer. Tommy Robinson is a Zionist.
Do you know how Israel was created, the MDL?
Yes, so you had the Rothschild at the Balfour Agreement, and then we gave away the British Mandate of Palestine, and then during World War II, they were replaced to there, and then we kind of just let them have it. They started an uprising, and we just let it go.
No, that's
But
not
I
how it works.
always
Wasn't
think, right, I think it's when people say it's like the Jewish and the Zionists, like where did they learn all that stuff from? The British. They learned it from the English. Like the English literally created the Jewish people as they are today. They created it, and the Americans did, which obviously European Americans come from British. So I really feel like sometimes there is this want to say, oh, it's over there, but it's actually within British culture to be exactly like Israel is, because they've divided and conquered like the Israelis are doing now. They did it in India with Pakistan, Bangladesh. They've done like divided Cyprus between the north and the south. They did it in Ireland, Northern Ireland and Southern Ireland. They literally did it. This is part of British history to divide and to push culture. And what Israel is doing is approved by the British. It is
Yeah,
approved.
it's disgusting.
Because they're like, yeah, it is gross. It's absolutely gross. So, you know, that's why this is why there's not that much sanctions, because the people in control, I think, as I said, is that if you keep saying it's just Zionists and it's Jewish people, you take away who is actually who these people actually are.
I wouldn't say Zionism, I'd just say it's Judaism. I believe it to be a vile, horrible religion.
Can I ask a question?
No, you can't really say that, because Zionism is completely different. As I said, I don't tie Zionism specifically to the religion of Jewishness because of British history. It is not about that. And, you know, there were plenty of Jewish people who have been so upset by what's happening in Israel, like genuinely, proper Jewish people who are horrified by what's going on in Israel. So, you know, I do make a tongue-in-cheek joke about generalization towards the English people, but I won't do it towards Jewish people. I won't do it towards any other group of people. I only do generalization, just as I say, to English people, because I learned it from them. They do it from everybody else.
You gotta do it to the Jews as well, though. Come
What's the
on.
question,
No,
please?
I won't do that. Yeah. So AJ, yes.
Yeah.
And then we're going to bring in Big Pete, because they've been waiting for a while as well. Only one Pete. Okay, AJ, what's up?
So, question to the floor, and mostly to this MDL guy, based on what he said. Why is it whenever we're speaking about British history and what the British did and the role that they played in the destruction of mankind, why is there always the necessity to speak about? Because I spoke about what the British did, and you know, if I were and the first thing that he came with is, well, we don't speak about what the Jews did. But hold on a second.
Because I believe we're controlled by the Jews.
Let me finish. It wasn't the Jews that went to Africa and enslaved. That was the British Christians. It wasn't the Jews. Now, I've never discounted, it's proven that the Jewish community and the Jewish faith and the Christian faith worked together hand in hand during the transatlantic slave trade. We're not disputing that. However, it wasn't the Jews that brought Africans to the Caribbean. That was the British. It wasn't the Jews that brought them to America the way they did. That was the British. So I don't understand why, because all it says to us is, let's not talk about us. Let's talk about them. Because if then it's like, well, everybody's to blame in it because you did a bit and I did a bit too. But let's talk about it all. So the question is, Why is always the need when speaking about British history, the necessity to speak about what other countries did when the British still haven't taken responsibility and paid for the damage they've caused around the world?
Because I think we're owned by the Jews. I think they're in charge.
Is that based on is that opinion or fact?
More of opinion, but I'm anti-Semitic.
Because it's opinions why we have racism.
The current leader in charge of the United Kingdom now,
Not
he's
interested in your
Jewish.
opinion, mate. Not interested in your opinion. Your opinion is not based upon facts. I'm talking about facts. Factual evidence shows us that it was that British government
And the
gave
Jews.
40%. Hold on. The British government gave 40% in compensation to British landowners and slave masters of the Caribbean. That's fact. That was only paid back in 2015. That is fact. We know that actually happened. That isn't based. It's not my opinion whether the slave masters got compensation. That is a fact. We know that the British financial institutions that stand to this very day was built on back of solely compensation. For example, the Barclays Bank. Barclays Bank started directly
Owned by Jews.
No.
By Jews.
No, hold on a second. No, what you're forgetting is
That's owned by Jews.
hold on a second. 1 second, MDL. Let's just be clear on something. And I'm not taking over your life. I'm going to come out the way.
No, it's okay.
Let's be clear on something, right? In 1807, the British banned the slave trade within the empire. Banned it. Okay, it wasn't illegal. It was banned in 1807. It was 27 years later before they passed law. Okay, the Slave Act was passed in 1835, and the British made the slave trade illegal. Consequence to this, the British government took 40% of the national budget and took a loan to pay 40% of the national budget as compensation. Okay, that was paid back in 2015. That there had nothing to do with anybody else other than the British. It was the British people, it was English-born people who went to the British government and said, we need to be compensated for our loss. And they took 40% of it and gave it. They didn't ask the Jews to chip in. They didn't ask the Gentiles to help out. They asked the World Bank to loan them the money of which that's nothing to do with the Jews.
The Jewish owned banks.
No, hold on. No,
They are the Jewish owned banks.
You're missing it. The banks in the UK at this point haven't been established yet. And when they were established, they were established with the compensation. Hear what I'm saying to you?
1 minute, Phil. 1 minute, Phil.
Hear what I'm saying? I'm being very, you can find this out yourself. The money that was used to rebuild this country in 1835 was the money that was given directly as compensation from the British government to the British people for not being able to house slaves. It was that same money that they took and used, okay, and built the infrastructures we have in the UK today. That had nothing to do with the American government, the Japanese government, the Spanish, or the Jews. It was the British people speaking to the British government saying, if we're not allowed to sell people as cargo, you need to subsidize that. So they said, bring us your books, bring us your figures, show us what you have, and we will compensate you accordingly. There's documents to show that there was a prime minister who was a direct descendant of a slave master who got the most amount. He was given £2,500 as compensation for not being able to house slaves. And this was the same money that they took and put into industries, financial establishments, which is what the country is built on today. Again, this has nothing to do with anybody else other than British history. Watch it.
That, my ideas, is how you are shown an educated person. When you actually
I'm an ex-history teacher, so you got to be careful.
Yeah, you read facts, you actually learn, you use your own intelligence to actually understand what is truth and what is not truth. We know, if you're an educated person, we know that that's the story. We know that that's the story. Big Pete, only one Big Pete, you had your chance to be on panel, but you showed you're very impatient. And now you're crashing out in the chat saying, get me back up. We actually do try to be very adult about things here. You know, you had your opportunity, but you decided to be quite petulant and said, well, I'm not getting my chance to speak, so I'm going to drop down and I'm going to make my voice heard in the chat. You had your chance. Unfortunately, you've missed your opportunity. Phil, yes. How are you?
Not bad, thank you.
Good. Oh, hold on. Yes, what would you like to add to the chat today, please?
Real British history it does upset the English people, but they're realising what they've done in history, like the British Empire, I must admit, and all the atrocities. But then you've also got to look at. The Germans did it, the Italians did it, the Persians did it.
Sorry, Phil, we don't do deflection here. You read the topic. It says, "Why does real British history upset the English the most?" And you've immediately brought up Germany. We're not talking about European history. We're talking about British and English. So please try to stick to the topic.
Yeah, that's well, it's going to upset everything AJ's just said is actually bang on to what we've done in the past. But then they've also took the money from what they've done. He's took over places like Africa, South Africa, and they've earned the money. They've earned the money through that. It's not just like just that one way where they've. And then it is really bad. It is.
So who's earned the money back? Who's earned the money back, Phil?
The
Jews.
Empire obviously went out, well, stealing then, I suppose, taking over land.
Of course I did. So who's been paid back then?
Jews.
Who's been paid back?
Yeah.
I suppose we're all being paid back.
How? How are black people being paid back?
Well, what's the difference between me and you in this country?
Phil,
institutionalized racism.
I'm just going to interject a minute on this subject. Do you know, Phil, that there was a meeting at the UN? I actually got sent this article in my DMs. That the UN, and the UN is crap. Like, I don't know if you saw this. The UN wants to make sure that actually restorative justice is given now. Huh?
They want to depopulate us all. They want to depopulate us all. I hate the EU. You know what I mean?
Phil, relax a minute. Just relax a minute, Phil. I'm asking you a question. Have you read today, or do you know that the UN, which I don't like the UN, but do you know that they actually are trying now to ask people or countries, without listing the countries' names yet, that they want these countries to actually provide restorative justice to African descendants who were victims of the transatlantic slave trade? Do you know this, Phil? You can unmute and respond, Phil, if you're aware of this.
No, I wasn't aware of that.
So
but,
it's becoming part of a conversation now, where it is, because of course we're talking about this now. AJ is the one that's brought up the transatlantic slave trade, and I always find it very interesting bringing up the transatlantic slave trade. It's something actually that I don't like talking about, because I feel like a lot of people don't understand the different types of slavery, different slavery history, the fact that there's 50 million slaves already today. I don't like talking about the subject because I feel that there's too much ignorance on the subject, but I don't also shy away from that simultaneously. Yes, as I said, the UN really wants to make sure that there's some kind of restorative justice, because MDL seems to have a real issue with Jewish people. But I don't know if you know this, Phil, let me finish and then you can hear what I'm saying. There has been significant amounts of compensation, as you've just brought up, to Jewish people regarding the treatment in the Second World War, the Holocaust, for example. Significant reparations has been given to Jewish people. They've obviously been given land as well and created the state of Israel.
Can I quickly say something about that quickly?
There has not been significant reparations given to other groups of people in the same way. So there's not equality in the way that Europeans have treated Europeans in comparison to Africans. Does it make sense what I'm saying to you, Phil?
Yeah, of course it does. But at the minute, I think white people are being treated with ridiculous. Even in England today, I think we're the worst treated anyway at the minute.
What's that got to do with what I've
But
just said, Phil? What's that got to do with
well,
what
it's
I've
just still. There's lots of things like you can talk about America giving you your rights back as well because you are the native people of America. I mean, let's face it. It wasn't cowboys and Indians, was it?
What are you talking about, Phil? Phil, what are you chatting about?
Well,
Phil, where are you talking about America? And you think I'm from
giving your
America?
stuff back. Yeah, I don't come from America, no, but I know that the actual original people in America were black.
Black people were everywhere.
America, in the Americas, we already had the Olmec people there way before any ships came over with any slaves from Africa. We already had the Olmec people who were black.
Yeah.
So we already had black people there. You know, it wasn't a thing that the first black people came when the ships came over from Africa. That's incorrect, sir. I'm sorry.
Who didn't the Spanish come over and also?
Yes, the Spanish came over, the French came over, the British came over, and basically they all robbed us. All the Europeans came to rob us.
Definitely. And I think Tartaria was there before all of you.
Pardon?
Tartarians from the part of Russia.
Okay,
where all,
I don't understand what the Tartarians.
Guys, shall we bring it back to the topic? Because we're again deflecting from what the subject is. Phil, you are the king of deflection, sir. You are the king of deflection, sir. The topic, if we read it again, why does real British history upset the English most? We went to America and Tartarians. What the F? That is key deflection, please. Right, only one Big Pete. This is your chance now to see if you can stick to the topic. The spotlight is on you, only one. So please unmute yourself and let us hear all of these wonderful things that you have to say for the whole audience here. Can you unmute yourself, please, sir?
That's I've done it. Yeah, I did actually say the British.
Phil, I didn't say Phil. I said only one Big Pete. The person at the top, can you unmute yourself, please? I've sent an invitation now for you to unmute yourself. You've made a very big deal that you wanted to come up on panel. And then you went down to the chat because you were upset. There you are. Hello. What would you like to add?
Right, I was just going to say, so why are we upset about our history? I'm proud of our history.
But are you proud of all the bad bits too?
I'm proud of all of it, yeah. That's what got me here today.
And what have you achieved then? Tell us about all of these things.
Okay,
you're
so what I've achieved is we actually enslaved you. You'd still be crawling around like a dog picking cotton for us if it weren't for the British.
Yawn. Goodbye. You literally used your time, your very, very important time, your very important, precious time. Only one Big Pete, you had your chance on the panel. You started crashing out in the chat. And now you came back up to be like, yeah, we're bad on Africans. Literally, I asked about you personally, Pete. Like, what have you achieved personally? All you've achieved by that 30 seconds, not even 30 seconds, 10 seconds that you had there, that you're racist. Literally, you chose your time, your very precious time, the platform I've just given you to be racist. So that's what you've achieved. You've achieved being racist. That's your legacy. That's your legacy, Pete. You know that, right? You are definitely one of those people who've been marching up and down the street with your little flag. Isn't that right? You've been waving your flag because you've got nothing else going on in your life. You're getting together.
Can I just say something?
1 minute, Inti, 1 minute. Mr. Pete, you haven't achieved anything. You have not achieved anything on your own time. You, sir, are just resting on the laurel of British supremacy, saying that you achieved something, Mr. Pete, but you've achieved nothing. Nothing. Descendants of slaves. We've achieved far more than you, and that is facts. I could list off a whole list of achievements that I have done personally, and I have nothing to even say, hey, do you know what? My brothers and sisters in Nigeria, they did this, blah, 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 or even in the Caribbean, they did this. I talk about me as an individual. You, Pete, can't even come up here and say anything that you've done as an individual. And that's why you're so attached to your flag right now, right? Because you have nothing else. You have nothing else. Reflect upon your life, good sir. Reflect upon your life. Inti, what would you like to add? Yes, Inti. Yes, hello.
I would like to add this very thought that these English people have, that they came and we were uncivilized before they set foot on our land. Let me tell you, we had civilizations thousands of years before yours, which are still a marvel of the modern world. They still cannot fathom how some of these things were built. They still can't even work out how we managed to live in peace with nature, which you, may I add, like to destroy. We lived in harmony with nature for thousands of years. And if it wasn't for the Romans coming over to Britain, you'd still be throwing your piss spot out of the windows to the people walking underneath on the pavements. And let me tell you something else about your wonderful palaces all throughout Europe, my darling, where your grand queens and kings used to stand and defecate whilst they were standing on the floor, on the palace floors, and the whole place was stinking. And those wonderful wigs that they used to wear, yes, were full of mice and rats living in their heads. And the French created perfume to cover up the stench.
Yeah.
The stench, because it was so overbearing, because they only used to wash once a year, and that's only if they had to. So let's not go about, the great Europeans being so civilized, and you all came and saved us and made us civilized. We were civilized thousands of years before you were even a thought in God's brain.
Yeah. English people, I don't know if you know this, but humanity is 300,000 years old. Your tribe is only 1,500 years old. You think everybody was sitting around doing nothing before you came? This is why you need to decolonize your own minds and actually understand real history, not this bollocks history that British propaganda is. I grew up in the same system as you. I know the crap that they taught us, which was nothing like Inti just said. They didn't tell us about all that part there, the real British history. They did not tell us about this. And how crazy, in 2025, a lot of us are only just learning about it now, including myself. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. But what a good time it is to be alive, eh, guys? That we can connect.
I suppose I should add, Foxy, thank God the great white chief came onto our lands.
honestly, I always say, like, isn't it funny how they think they introduce things like English with cupcakes and handshakes? Like, that's what they literally think. They think that they were so clever. No, English people, you need to understand something. You were just the most savage. And like Inti said, a lot of humanity was actually cooperating quite well, quite well. There was trade, there was actually understanding different people's cultures. There was lots of similarities in cultures as well. We had a very, very successful trans-Saharan trade route in North Africa going through to Asia. Africa and Asia were very connected, very, very connected. English people, you've done a damage to the whole entire planet, and you cannot deny that. You cannot deny 90% of the world was harmed by your people. 90%. And you keep bringing up like the Mongolian Empire. That kind of stayed over there. It stayed in its like vicinity. You bloody British went everywhere. Touched almost every continent. You went next level with the shit. Next level. We as people here in our ethnicity should not be speaking English. We should be speaking our native languages. We should be speaking our native languages. So, you know, this is really, really just nonsense. It's nonsense. Fahad, what would you like to add to the chat today? Good to see you. How are you?
Good to see you. I'm good, thanks. Yeah, to be honest with you, like Fox, I wasn't shocked when a person like that was to come on. Like, the majority of them are like that behind closed doors, and even when they see you in real life, it's a fake persona that they put on. Not too long ago, do you remember? Like, I'm just gonna say it because who remembers Paki bashing, when they used to go out, find a brown person, call them a Paki all the way down to the fucking street, beat them up, tarnish them, split their country into three, call them a slur, loot everything from them until 1945, and then came back and then just said, well, oh, do you know what? You've got nothing, you've got no education, you're poor, you're Muslim, you're this, you're that, whilst they took everything from us.
It was happening in the 50s,
India
60s,
was the last.
70s,
India
80s,
was the
and
last.
90s. Yeah, in the chat.
Stole from us. Now, I feel like with English people, Pakistani people have got I feel like they have got more of a personal. I feel like they think we're their pet, aren't we? Because, oh well, they're just giving us a personalized slur, you know.
Yeah.
Giving us a personalized slur. We're the most unhinged. We're the most hated. I mean, since I was growing up, I just never understood. And do you know what? Do you know, Fox? When I was growing up, I thought, why do I feel like a criminal when I've done absolutely nothing wrong? And then I sort of realized when I look into my history books, and when I look into what my past grandparents have went through, I'm like, no, we were the ones that went through absolute hell. I mean, even the 7 layers of hell is what is worse what we went through in this country, even before that. And then
Sorry, your signal is cutting out there a bit, Fahad. It's cutting out a bit, so we lost you at the end there. But yeah, the P bashings were absolutely disgusting, and the fact that they're coming back again now, like English culture, and they hate when I say this. And
can I just say? I feel like these people.
One minute, Fahad. Let me finish this point, and you can come back in because your signal is showing really low. I don't know if you can see this because we can barely hear you. We can barely hear. So if you can move to a better signal area, then we can hear you a little bit better. English people and the word hate has a very close association. English people hated everybody. Everybody. When the Anglo-Saxons came to Britain, they clearly hated the fact that the indigenous Britons, because as we know, English people are not indigenous to Britain, they were from Northern Europe. They deny the fact that they were German and of Germanic descent. They did not respect the Britons that are already on the land. They did not respect them. So then they started to move these people into now what we know, Scotland and Wales, and of course over to Ireland. They didn't respect them. And so when they started to war with all the people there, they were like, hey, and they couldn't beat the Scottish because the Scottish were strong. The King of Scotland at that time said, okay, let's form a union because we got our closest enemy in France, and we gotta be stronger than French. We gotta be stronger than them. So that's when they started to do all their shit around the world. Like, hey, we can go over there and steal that shit. We can steal that shit. We can steal that shit. And when they got to India, and they spent all those years in India stealing $45 trillion, taking the trade from there. Fahad, have you got the statistic? Whoever's got the statistic on the top of their head, the GDP of India before and after the British. Have you got it? Who's 24%, and then it went down to 2%.
21% of the world's economy back then, before they went into our lands and called it British India. Yeah. Cheers.
24%.
24% of the world's GDP was in India.
They went there to help them and build infrastructure. Remember, and with the railway gave them.
Yeah, the way that their history has been so manipulated. And you're right, AJ, what you said earlier. If that was your history, you would crash out as well. But I don't think to this day, of all the lives that I've done, that Steve from earlier, I've never heard a crash out like that so far. That's the first time I've heard a proper English crash out. I've had some good ones in my time. That other person deleted account who comes up and says nonsense like, I told you, she needs the most mental health help, really. Because why are you creating multiple accounts to come to the same person? Like, why do you keep coming back to me? Why do you keep coming back to me? I'm obviously in her head. So, yeah, it is really, really interesting because we're obviously all affected by people. Every single person on this panel here, me, are affected. So why are we not that upset? Like, we are literally just talking truthfully about what's happening. And of course we have some bitterness and resentment. Of course we do. It's what's happened to us. It's what's happened to us. But why are we not crashing out like the English are? Like, we're just not crashing out like them. Thank you so much, Fahad. Thank you, Inti, for the gift. Thank you. Always good to have you up here, Fahad. Thank you so much for coming up. Someone else wants to come up now. We got Eva. Thank you, David, for the gift. Thank you. Eva, good evening or good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. What would you like to add to the conversation today? Hello, Eva. Hello. Eva? Eva's not with us, so I've just dropped her because if you come up on the panel, please do speak. Try again, maybe, Eva. I don't know if there was a problem that you couldn't hear me or something, or your microphone wasn't working, but you can try again. So, yes, why does real British history upset English people the most? Thank you so much for the gifts, Lucky Girl. I would love to have more English people up, more Anglo-Saxons up on the panel to discuss if they may. Even if you have a crash out, it's fine. Because this is a very difficult time for you, as AJ has said. The truth is very painful for your people. Very, very painful. Very painful. Because the propaganda that the British government and the British Empire has created was very good. It was very good, the propaganda. Exceptional propaganda. The funny thing is, I remember the very first time I heard the word propaganda was at school. During the Second World War, like the education of the Second World War. Yeah, there was a lot of propaganda at that time. Propaganda. And I'm like, oh, you don't even mention the propaganda that you were spilling out. You are like the kings and queens of propaganda. The queens and queens you probably made up the word propaganda. Probably made it up. Quinn. Let's see, will it connect? Quinn, you've been in my comments section. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. How's yourself?
I'm good, thank you. What would you like to add to the topic today? Let's see what you got to say.
No, it just makes me laugh how you hate the British so much and the English. It's just unbelievable.
Quinn, I know you've seen a lot of my videos. Please start taking in the information. I've literally done a video that says that I don't hate. It's not within me because I'm just talking truthfully about what's happened in your history and what's happened to us. Like I've just said, we've all been affected by the British Empire and by English people. But we're not. If I was hating, you would know if I hated you. Honestly, you would know. You would know if anybody would hate you because you would experience like what we've experienced. We've experienced real hatred from English people. Real hatred.
I don't believe that for 1 second.
Why?
At the end of the day, you've got to accept. You've done a lot of good in England. You've got, it looks like you've got a fairly nice house there. You dress fairly well.
Thank you. I'm not in England, though. I'm sure you would have seen that by now. I'm not in England.
You've been in England to make the money, haven't you? You've been in England to make profits and make the money and get where you are today.
Quinn, what you know about me, and which is very little, I will say, you only know me on just this one platform. Do you not think me as a person could be successful on any country on this planet?
No, because you've already told us that you've only just left London.
No, I didn't. I was never in London.
Well, in the UK.
Yeah, I was in England, yes. But
Yeah.
the type of person
You-
I
you-
am, I don't have an attachment to the land like you have an attachment to the land. Clearly you do, because you've got a British flag in your bio and you've got the
No.
Christian symbols as well.
I've got a British flag
you've
'cause
got,
I'm
you've
from
got
Britain.
some kind of attachment
So
to
there
the
you go
land you
again.
grew up. You've
He's
got some
throwing
kind
the
of
hatred again.
attachment. You've got some attachment to the land that you grew up in. I don't, which means I can be successful wherever I want to be in the world. And I have had success in many different countries, Quinn. Many different countries.
Can I ask Quinn a question?
And can you name them? Can you name these countries that you've been successful in?
I've just done a video. You can go and do it on your own time. The research is there. The last video I just posted.
I'm just asking you now, as a general question.
Okay, the UAE, the United States, throughout Europe, through France, Italy, Germany, where else? Ireland, North and South Ireland as well. Many different places, Quinn. I'm international.
Can I ask
You've
Quinn a
got a
question,
fairly
please?
strong English accent there, considering you've travelled quite a fair
What
places.
do you think? Do you think that people just change their accent just because they spend some time in different countries, Quinn?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, is that how it works?
Yeah, because I've lived in Australia for 15 years, and my accent changed. So,
But I wasn't there. I wasn't in these other countries for 15 years, my dear. I was not in those other countries. I was successful in those countries for a short period of time. I did not adopt their accents, Quinn. This is a very funny thing you're saying there.
something's, I don't know, something's not right. I don't
Can I
know.
ask,
Okay.
Quinn, can I ask you a question?
Yes, go ahead, AJ, pal.
So you say that you know, you opened it with, which I think was quite inappropriate and misplaced and disrespectful, that Fox hates England and the British. So my question is, and please don't start going off on a tangent, just stick to my questions. What's been said about British history that's been either hateful speech, misinformation, and inaccurate? Has any of them things been? Has anything been said that's hateful?
Has anything been said? It's just you're England and you're this and you're that.
Quinn,
It comes across.
Quinn,
AJ,
I
can I
cannot
just
do
say
that.
and all, just to put
Quinn,
it.
1 second, Quinn, 1 second. Before you do that, let's just stick to the question. Has anything been said that's been hateful?
Hateful. Yeah, it's on the borderline anyway.
What's been no, not borderline. What's been said that was hateful?
I just think Mrs. Fox doesn't like the UK. That's
Okay,
what it
1
comes
second.
across.
Has anything been said that isn't historically and factually accurate about the British? For
Yeah.
example,
I've seen, but I can't like point it out now. But she does says a lot of stuff.
okay, so I'll run a few
Okay,
things.
AJ, I'm just gonna. I appreciate what you're saying there, AJ. But Quinn, and I'm just gonna say to a few people to Quinn about Quinn. Quinn has watched many of my videos, and left multiple comments. So he's watching these things
Can
actively
you show me?
and leaving comments.
sing
That's
one or
why I
two.
knew you. That's why I knew you. And AJ is asking you a direct question. So based on all of the research you've done with watching me, you should be able to come up with something specific that I've said that's hateful towards you. You can even quote me saying, I hate English people. Like, where have I said that? You can quote me to say that I feel disgusted by English people. Quote me if you find that in a video. Go and find it. Tell everybody what video it is, what it's titled. Like you know my back catalogue.
Hello.
You know it very well, Quinn. You know my content and the things that I've said. So tell everybody which videos they are.
Because Quinn, you're not. The thing is, I appreciate how history doesn't always make us look good, but to speak of a historical fact that isn't the greatest historical fact doesn't then make that hateful. It just makes it a matter of fact. So, and the thing is, it's like if it started off with, can't stand the British, I think they're absolute morons, why did the British get so upset about history? Then I would be the first to be like, whoa, like you could have left the first part off to make the point that you're making, because that's kind of hateful speech. But that's not. And the thing is, again, It's just a question being asked. Now, I'm sure that this question has arisen from the same reasons that I would have asked it, because we often hear people get very defensive and crash out when we speak about historical facts about the British monarchy, the British Empire, the British people, and what the English have done, not only here, but all over the world. So it's kind of a straw man's argument when you be doing, oh, you just hate the country. Now, the facts are the facts of the country. If we was to speak of American history is not pretty when we start talking about Jim Crow and the uprising of the civil rights movement and white came and the bus boycotts and what was happening to the people that were getting arrested for transporting people in their cars because they wouldn't get on buses and giving them silly traffic tickets, preventing them from being part of the syndicate. You see, that's not saying we hate America. That's just identifying Americans' history. And unfortunately, like most, and this is the thing, I have to remember, the Americans, or what they are called, the white Americans, you have to understand that these are British people, these are British settlers. So yes, they've got this funny little accent now, but understand that the first set of people that moved out there, that settled in Virginia, were actually from the UK. The first settlers in America were from the UK. Now,
AJ, I'm really sorry to interrupt you because you're saying amazing things here, but I just want to kind of bring it back home to where we're talking about British history, especially because we do have Quinn on the panel who obviously wants to. I feel like, Quinn, you want to learn some things. That's what I definitely feel. I feel that, of course, it is difficult to learn the truth about what's happening in history. I just kind of want us to focus on that for a little bit. At the same time, I also don't want to be the person to help you do this because it's not my job. It's not my place to do that. I'm not getting paid for this. I'm not a psychologist. I just want to be very real about what I talk about here and what we're all talking about here, which is the real British history, not all the good stuff, the bad stuff included, which has truthfully affected millions of people around the world. And the only reason why we're talking about it now as well is because we're still being affected by it. If we weren't affected by it, we wouldn't be talking about it. We literally wouldn't. We'd be carrying on with our lives. But you have to understand something, Quinn. We've all tried so hard to move on from what the British Empire did. So you have no idea of the things that our families went through. No idea. You have no idea. And every single day when we wake up, we have to really shrug a lot of this shit off.
Navigate.
And we've had to do this for decades, and it passes down to people like me who's 42 years old, and I was not even there, but I've still had to shrug some shit off too. We have to come up. We've had to have the strongest backbone that you will never have to experience. You will never have to experience this, Quinn. Like you just don't understand. You don't understand. And nobody's attacking you. Like somebody said this earlier, why are you attack? Nobody's attacking you. We're talking truthfully about what we've experienced. And we are also educating each other because a lot of this shit has been erased. We didn't know why we were still being treated like crap in the UK. Why would I, as 42 years old, wake up, be born and be like, yeah, I'm a happy person. I'm trying to work. I'm being stopped. I'm trying to have relationships. I'm being stopped. I'm trying to make friends with English people. I'm being stopped. Why is all these obstacles always appearing? It's because British propaganda has said that the English people think that we're the enemy and they become afraid of us. Why? This is something that happens in your people. You are afraid of us simultaneously, and we have not been the ones to do anything. The fear lives within you because of what the British Empire did, and this is the problem. If you don't accept all of the parts of British history, you don't understand why you are as you are. This is not about the past. This is about how the past, it's not in the past, sorry. It's about how the past affects us all today as people, as humans. Every time people always like, the past is the past, get over it. We did get over it, but you never stopped. You never stopped pressing us about the past. You wanted to always bring up the past all of the time. So we were trying to move on. We were over here, But English people, you were back here always trying to pull us, always trying to pull us back, always trying to subjugate us, always trying to humiliate us, always trying to talk down on us all of the time across the world. Even when you would go on holiday, the disrespect I would see of British people in other countries constantly. There's a reason why the Spanish don't want you there anymore. There's a reason why the Dutch don't want you there anymore. There's a reason why Thai people are fed up of British people going there. You see the footage every single time of a Ryanair flight. Oh, look, it's the British again. Everyone knows it's the English. It's a problem. You don't do enough self-reflection about your people. You're always like, well, those people over there are doing that. Those people over there are doing that. You are doing these things. You need to spend more time. You need to spend more time self-reflecting. Self-reflect.
I think you have got a lot of hatred there, to be honest, just listening to you.
There's no hate.
Yeah, but it's a bit,
No, Queen.
I think
I'm not gonna allow you to say that. 1 second. I'm not gonna allow you to disrespect the Queen like that. I'm not gonna. Sorry, Fox, but I'm. I'm always here. Listen, we're African together. You may be Nigerian. I'm Ghanaian. But we're African all the same.
Still brother and sister.
So hear this thing now, yeah. This is what we're not gonna do.
The thing
Queen.
is,
One
everyone
second,
just keeps
Queen. 1 second, Queen. 1 second, Queen.
AJ, I'm going to appreciate it, but I'm just going to let Quinn have his little moment, and then you can have your moment as well, AJ, if you don't mind, because Quinn has got some.
Let him carry on. I don't mind.
Can I make a quick point? I'm an Asian, right? And I'm proud to be British. I'm proud to be here. I mean, I've not experienced as such discrimination as the host was saying. I've been all my life. Of course, we have issues even in our own country, even worse there. But I think the British Empire, I think, was fantastic. I mean, if they want to conquer the world.
Nah, man, we don't have. We do not have on this panel. No, I don't, Quinn. I don't. Quinn, this is my panel. Okay? This is my panel, Quinn. Please, this is my panel. I get to choose what happens on here. If you don't like how I run my panel, there are plenty of other panels to go to. What I don't like is a coconut. I don't like people who are so colonized in their mind, especially brown people, because we had Fahad up earlier talking about exactly what happened in India, Pakistan, all the pea bashings from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, and that are coming back around again today. I do not accept, condone, or co-sign the coconut. Fahad, please go and find yourself on another live that is all about British nationalism and racism, where they would love you, but as soon as you show yourself to be brown, you will be turned on because of how, go and join the EDL. Go and be one of the 5 black and brown faces we've seen on that side. Go to that side. This is not the area that you will have your thoughts and feelings co-signed. Quinn, what would you like to add? I know you wanted to. Yeah, I did drop you. Jad. I did drop you because this is not your space. This is not your space. Quinn, what would you like to add, dear?
You know what? I think the black and the whites these days get on well together.
No,
I've got quite a few black mates, and do you know what?
That's nice.
The sound lads. I used to play a lot of rugby, and we used to play, professional. And, I've never had a problem, and I've always asked anything racist or anything. It must be in different areas or whatever, because, I just don't get that vibe. And I know the British haven't been the best in the past. Neither have the French. They've all had empires. They've all treated that slaves.
Oh, here we go. The deflection there. Look. So the thing is, Quinn, can you read the chat right now, Quinn? I'm just going to mute you for a minute. Just go to the chat, okay? So what it says there, it says, here we go. Typical, I have friends cards.
I get on.
Yeah. So the thing is, Quinn, I think what the problem is that you'll see. I am an exceptional person, Quinn. Thank you.
You are a nice person.
Quinn, stop speaking.
1 minute, Quinn. The problem is, which I find it to be very true, is that English people look at things in this view rather
No,
than this view.
definitely
It is
not.
very much a case of me. Like you've just said, I have black friends and we get on fine. That's what you've just said. That does not mean when you're talking over me, please, you have your term. I give you chances to speak as well. Quinn, you are looking at things like this instead of like this. Just because you have friends of a different color does not mean that they haven't experienced discrimination. It doesn't mean that, Quinn. It means that you are very comfortable having friends of a different color, which is great. Amazing. Good for you. However, reality is, for us people, is that life is very difficult. Life is very difficult for the rest of us, okay? Of course, I like the sound of my own voice, Paul. That's why I'm actually here on a panel doing a live. If I hate my voice, why would I be up here? No. Quinn, carry on. What would you like to add?
God, everything I say, you just mute me, so it's pointless.
No.
It's your show, Mrs. Fox, so you carry on. Everything that you say is right. That's all I'm going to say.
Thank you so much. You agree. We both agree then.
I don't
No.
say that because you don't want anybody to say.
No, you have a say, Quinn, but unfortunately, sometimes I do have to interrupt you because there's certain things that I don't like to be put out to other people because you think it's normal. It's not normal. It's not normal. It may be normal for you, but for the rest of us, it's not.
I'll kick him off. You can't have to say. It's simple.
But you're still up here. You're still up here, Quinn.
I know. Because at the end of the day, you just kick that other guy off, and he was just speaking the truth.
But Quinn, what you're failing to forget is
1 minute, AJ. 1 minute, AJ. Just 1 minute. Which guy are you referring to, Quinn? And what truth was it that he said?
Even let AJ have his speech. No, I'm off. See ya. It's just pathetic.
Okay, bye. He tried. Oh, Quinn, you tried. Quinn, you tried. I don't know how many minutes you actually managed to last there, but to be honest, I think you did a little bit better than I was expecting. As I said, you've been in my comment section, making a lot of comments. You came up on my live for the first time, and you did better than I expected. It is not easy, and this is not me having any sympathy towards English people, but as AJ said earlier, it is not easy for you to understand that your history hurt a lot of people. A lot of people. This is why I recommend therapy. This is why I am an advocate for it. I'm a really, really big advocate for it. So I think, Quinn, what you were talking about, I think the person you were talking about is Ahmad, Amjad. 1 minute, Fahad. I'm just finishing what I'm saying, please, dear. Amjad. So Amjad, as I've said, I don't condone, and even I've let other white people come up here and say things, other English people come up and say things, but the coconut is like the worst. It's like the worst. Thank you, AJ. Sure, no problem. The coconut is the worst because coconuts actually actively harm us as people. They actively harm us because they co-sign the shit treatment that we experience. Yeah. They co-sign and they gaslight worse than English people. They try to make it seem, okay, let me explain what a coconut is. A coconut is somebody who's brown or black on the outside and white in the inside. It's an insult. It's an insult to them. It's an insulting thing to say to somebody, but it's only because we say it because we know how harmful those people are. We know they are very, very harmful to us. Very harmful to us. So I don't allow them to have a platform. That's why. You're not coming up again, Amjad. You're not coming up. I'm sorry. Please go and decolonize your mind. Please go and make some friends with some real brown people, wherever for Asian descent people, make some real friends, because clearly you haven't made real friends. You're not part of your community. Clearly you are a stray, lost sheep. Yeah, it is an awful word, Peking pelican. It is an awful word, but they are dangerous people. But yeah, they actively harm us. Oh, look at his profile. I don't want to hurt my eyes like that. These glasses, by the way, guys, The reason why I use my glasses as an accessory is because I'm a new glasses wearer. It's only like minus 0.5% though. It's like nothing. But it's only because I spend, of course, a lot of time on my tech. I've got a laptop here, I've got my phone, I've got a second phone over here. So, but I love the glasses. They literally have something extra. Yes, Fahad, what would you like to add?
I really hope, Amjad, you're listening to this right now. Do you know what he is? He's like the slave. I'm sorry, I'm just going to put it straight as it's meant to be said. He's one of those people that knows that the white people are his masters and he's a slave to them, but he's their favorite slave and he doesn't get that much of a bad treatment to the rest of them. So, oh, well, do you know what? We're going to let it slide. We're going to let it happen. Because it wasn't really that bad. Because now, even though I'm their slave and they hate my guts just because of the way that I look, do you know what? Since they don't hate me as much as my other cohabitants, I'm going to sit and I'm just going to let it say, well, oh no, it's fine. The British were really, really good to us. The British were really good to us, you know? That's the sort of person he is. He's a self-hating person that hates the way he looks, hates his own name, hates his ethnicity, hates where he comes from, and thinks since he lives in a white man's land, he thinks he's exempt or he thinks he's liked, when in actual fact they wouldn't even spit on when you're on fire. Let's put it straight. They wouldn't even spit on you when you're on fire, when you're burning to hell. They would never give you a helping hand. They will never ever treat you as an equal. They will always see you as something that is beneath them, as dirt. No matter how much success you make, no matter how much you put into their economy, no matter how much you build upon their ways, no matter how English you act, brother, you are always going to be hated. Thank you.
It's true. It's true. There's nothing that, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the footage from the protests on the 13th.
Oh my God.
Do you see the side eye? Like there was, you know, I think there was an Asian lady there and she was like, Britain, and then you literally see the white people in the background. People like, yes, yeah. And they were like, what the fuck is this woman doing? Even they are like, what the hell is she doing here? Like crazy. Moby Lion? Am I saying that right? I'm sorry. Hello? Moby?
Hello?
Moby on the panel. We've got somebody new up on the panel who wants to add something. Moby.
I mean, it laughed when I was saying something, so what is it? Where is it now?
Yeah. Moby, are you here? Yes or no? No is the answer. Goodbye. Okay. Moby, you're lying. Nadal. Thank you so much, Nadal.
I just wanted to add that when I was watching that march, I really wanted to take out a red marker and go and correct all the spelling mistakes on Not one of them could spell. And isn't that amazing that the foreigners have to come and teach them how to write their own language? I cannot comprehend that. I can't. I'm sorry, but I can't.
It's you know what, the funny thing is, I feel like a lot of people want us to feel empathetic towards that particular, more billion. Okay, if you want to come up again, because you were just up, but obviously we couldn't hear you. If you want to come up, please request up again, more billion. Yeah, I think a lot of people expect us to have sympathy, and I actually want to do a video about this. They want us to have sympathy and empathy for the working class of England, right? Those of us who grew up in England, we came in as working class, okay? We didn't come in as privileged. We didn't come in as wealthy. We were also working class, okay? So why should we feel empathetic towards our fellow working class people who were racist towards us, who were mean towards us, who got jealous when we started to spell better, like Inti said, got better grades, we were excelling? They were our first bullies, for God's sake. They were our first bullies. It wasn't the government. It was those people in communities that were harassing us and making us feel like shit. So I don't have empathy for those people. English people, it is for you to have empathy with your fellow man, not us. Not us at all. Yeah, they want sympathy now. They're not getting it from us. We are not the crowd that you need to, get empathy from. No, you need to get it from your fellow man, your fellow English people who look down upon you. We weren't looking down upon you. We didn't do that. We were very focused on our goals and our dreams, our desires, all of those things. It was your fellow English people that looked down upon you and called you names and thought you were shit, not us. So don't ask us for empathy. Ask your people. Okay, Fifi, how are you?
Hi, it's nice to see you again.
And you too. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. What would you like to add today?
Yeah, I did it on my video too. It's like they really do not like it when you don't support them. They despise it with a passion. And a lot of them have this idea that white people can go through racism. No, you can't. I'm so sorry to tell you this, but you've never been through it. And every time you ask them to explain it, they're like, oh, we're the most oppressed people. You're not oppressed. You can never be oppressed in this country. You are the majority. You rule most of the places. How are you oppressed? 53% from GB News has made everyone think that they are the most oppressed race.
Yeah.
You can never be oppressed. And another thing that I've noticed is that when I shine the light on them about the continuous race riots that's still happening since the 50s, it hasn't stopped
Well, it
yet.
goes back further than that. 1919 is the first time they had a race riot. 1919, and that was after the First World War. Sorry, there was competition over jobs, and so the local working class people, they were so upset that there was, of course, immigrants that had got citizenship status because of part of the Commonwealth and part of the colonies. They then could settle back. Yes, 1919. You can go and look it up. It's the first race riot that they had. That was up and down the UK, and it was mainly in like the port towns that hated that there were people from other cultures, even though they were on the front lines of the First World War as cannon fodder. They hated that they got job opportunities over the British people. They hated it.
And you know, as you will say, the coconuts. Yes, I've been seeing them in power too. This is how you know UK is a classic example of classism, because as soon as you get to the highest, as soon as any POC gets to the highest, they just forget about.
Yes. They really do. Why is it that every single one? It is a system, and this is what I think people need to understand. England is not just a country. The UK is not just a country. It is a system. It is a system that only sets up a select few to succeed. And if you don't play by the rules of the game, you pretty much won't succeed. You literally have to get so far out of the system to be able to kind of work the system to your advantage, which is what I do. I work the system to my advantage. But we are, of course, seeing the coconuts in higher positions now. David Lammy, so Endive, if you're still there, you mentioned Suella Braverman. We've had Preeti Patel. We got now Shabana Mahmood. You know, all of these people who are the biggest puppets going now. Kemi Badenoch. Oh, okay. What's popping? You missed my explanation. Someone who's brown on the outside or black on the outside and white on the inside, and they are the pushers of white supremacy. So they have kind of no real understanding that they're actually being used by white supremacist systems. And what that does by using these people, these black and brown people, is it dismisses our legitimate experiences of discrimination and racism. So hopefully that makes sense. Oh, you call them Oreos. Oh, you're American. Yeah. So the same thing. Yeah. Kemi is, that's right, Ella. Kemi is absolutely the worst. And if you guys don't know her, we've got some Americans here. Kemi Badenoch is the leader of the Conservative Party in the UK. So this is your equivalent of the Republican Party. Imagine having a black Nigerian woman, the leader of the Republic. Like, imagine you're Donald Trump right now, right? We've got a Kemi Badenoch, a black Nigerian woman who is literally going around being like, what's that? I don't know if you saw that really cringe video the other day, guys, about how she was like, so I do an even posher accent than this one. So when I was at school, there was this boy, and it was the most extraordinary day where I saw he was cheating an exam. So I put my hand up and I said, sir, or whatever, you saw it, Leanne, that boy is cheating, and he got expelled. She was very, very proud to be a tattletale at school. And she said, well, everybody hated me for telling the truth, but there was one person that did come up and say that I did do a good thing. Like, Kemi, no. Yeah, she did that. The leader of the Conservative Party will literally sell you out. Sell everybody out. She has no allegiance to anybody. She's gross. Like, as a person, I find her very, very gross. Phil Britt is still crashing out in the chat. He had his moment on the panel. Isn't it funny that the people are still here in the comment section? They come up on the panel, they say a lot of stuff, they hate what I have to say, but they can't leave the chat. 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 You lot are obsessed. You lot are obsessed. Phil, you're obsessed. This is such a common thing that happens with you English people. You had Quinn up earlier, leaving all the comments on my videos. He came up to panel and then he left crying because he couldn't handle the conversation. This is what happens, English people. You're unpacking a lot of emotions at the moment, so many emotions that are coming up out of you. It is a very difficult time for you guys. Very, very difficult time. Your world is crumbling. And exactly like AJ said earlier, if I was English, I would also be crashing out. I would be crashing out. Else, you have also been in my comment section. You have also been in my comment section and now you're on my live telling me that I'm English. Thank you, Ella. Isn't it funny, to this day in 2025, people still don't understand the difference between nationality and ethnicity. So, Scouse, since you're telling me I'm English, please, Ash, thank you so much for the gift. Ash, please tell everybody in the chat, not Ash, sorry, who is it? Scouse, sorry, Scouse. Sorry, Ash, thank you for the gift. Scouse, tell everybody, and everybody, can you do the eyes towards Scouse? Because Scouse is going to educate us on the difference between ethnicity and nationality, because he is, I think, trying to say that he knows a lot there. So, oh, what's that? For some reason, my camera always goes so small. So, did everybody do the eyes because class is in session? Scouse, you're still here. I think I can still see you here, Scouse. Tell everybody in the chat the difference between nationality and ethnicity. Go ahead, please, dear. Everybody's waiting, Scouse. Phil, be quiet. I'm going to mute you. Mute. Phil, you are muted. You are muted because you're just talking. You had your chance up on panel. See, we are waiting, Scouse. We've got the eyes on you. Scouse, tell everybody the difference between ethnicity and nationality, Scouse. Scouse, where are you? You've gone quiet now. Scouse. Scouse is gone. This is what happens every time, guys. This is what happens every single time. They say a lot of stuff and then they don't have anything to back it up. They don't have anything to back it up. So yes, I did mute Phil because he's crashing out in the comment section. And Phil, I do think that you should go to therapy. Like I said on my last video, English people need therapy. It's not easy right now for you lot. And this is not me giving you any sympathy whatsoever. But if you're very struggling emotionally, which you are, the NHS has wonderful services. And this is coming from somebody who's also used it myself. Let me be serious for a minute. In 2020, I underwent 8 months of cognitive behavioral therapy. I was struggling a lot with overthinking, overeating, depression. I had depression for over 20 years and I didn't know why I was feeling all of these ways. And in 2020, I underwent 8 months of the best experience. Like really, it has been so life-changing for me. I've learned so much about myself. I've learned so much about the world. And the confidence that I have today is thanks to therapy, truly. And I do recommend it to everybody. Even if you think that there's nothing wrong, try to listen to your community. Try and listen to people when they speak to you. Because if you know that people have genuine care for you and they say, do you know what, I think you should speak to somebody, listen to their advice. Really do listen to their advice. So 2020 Wildlife in the chat says, I think you need more, to be honest. That's projection, my dear. You should go and look at the last video I've just done. I've said that there's 5 traits. There's actually 10 now that I have of English people, and projection is one of them. Please go and speak to the NHS. Go to the NHS Talking Therapies 2020 Wildlife. If you think that I'm an unhealed person, while someone like you says that, that's called projection, which means that you are the one who actually needs to go and seek therapy. It's not an insult. It's actually just truthful, and I think it would be very, very helpful to you. So also, Adam, Britain helped the world to develop into thriving economies. What that is called ignorance and arrogance, which is also number, yes, Fifi, it's also number 7 and 8 of the 6 and 7 I've put on my traits. Adam, you could also benefit with some therapy. NHS mental health services are exceptional, as I've just said. So Adam, please do contact the NHS for some much needed help and guidance. So guys, I'm going to end the live today. Has anyone got any closing thoughts on the panel? Inti, Fifi, anything you'd like to add before we go? It's late here.
Yeah, I'll just add one more thing. With British people need to realize they owe nothing in this country. You owe absolutely nothing. You see how in Africa and other areas you can buy a land and make your own properties? You can't do that here. So you have to also realize that, yes, you're the thriving economy. That's just due to the royal family. Sorry, honeys. Not you, because of you guys. All right, I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you, Fifi. Inti, have you got anything you'd like to add?
Well, the question that you've got, why does the British history upset English the most? And the reason for that is because they were told that they were the saviors of the world. They were told that this was the mother country, that this country developed all the civilization around the rest of the globe. And when you actually point out that it isn't so, because they've grown up being told this since, from when they could understand. From when they began to speak, they were told that England is the motherland. They went all around the world. They civilized all of us. They made all the inventions of everything that we use in today's world. It was all created by them. And when you actually sit down and explain to them that this is not actual facts, and you pull out facts for them, it's really shocking for them. It's a shock to their system to find out that they're not the great white man that went around the world civilizing us little brown people. So, I think that's part why they get so upset, because they've been so brainwashed into believing that they've been this great civilization that have civilized the globe, and they've and we should all bow down to them and respect them because of this. And when you tell them no, actually maybe it's the other way around, because you came and you stole a lot of our things and took them for yourselves and said it was your inventions, your creations. And I think that's probably why they get so upset. But hey, we all know what the truth is, so let them believe what they want to believe. Ignorance is bliss, and that's why they're so blissful.
Well, they're not anymore. That shit is gone now. The bliss days are over.
On that note, Fox, I will wish you a wonderful night, my lovely sister. I hope you have a lovely evening. Take care.
Thank you so much, Inti. Thank you. It's so nice to have you up on the panel.
To everybody in the panel, blessings to everybody on the chat. May you all have a wonderful night. God bless.
Thank you, Inti. Thank you. Turkish Afro, thank you so much for coming up. It's nice to have you up here. How are you?
Hey folks, it's always lovely to hear from you. You're such a kind lady. Just want to say I love you. Massive love out to you. I just want to say something. I was speaking to one of the people that was commenting on one of your videos, and we've had back and forth conversations, and sometimes, when you hit on a brick and they don't get what you're trying to say, and you give up. Just on that note, I want to say something to Inti. Hope you're well. I love your views, but you've said something which I know and amazingly believe that you mean well on this. But by the way, I'm not British and I'm not English. I'm pure Turkish, who's lived in the UK for a number of years, and I'm still part of the UK, and I'm proud to be who I am. It's not a problem for me. But when you talk about people in your communications, you used branded the word foreigners. It's amazing how foreigners correct the English and when they don't speak their own languages properly. I agree with you, but I personally, this is my opinion, and I'm very sorry to say this, but I don't like branded a foreigner, because if I'm branded as a foreigner, I think the English is also a foreigner as well. When an English is branded as an English and I'm still branded as a foreigner, that really hurts me. What are your views on that?
Okay, I understand where you're coming from. I'm happy to be a foreigner. I'm proud to be a foreigner, and to be quite honest with you, the reason why I said that is because I'm a teacher, and I teach adults. So when you see adults, English people, who English is their native language and cannot spell it, and me as a foreigner, I have to correct their English. I have to correct their grammar. I have to correct their spelling. Then the foreigner is teaching the English. That's the content I meant it in. And if you found it offensive, maybe you misunderstood what I was saying.
I've actually praised you at the beginning of my conversation.
I'm just saying, I think you misunderstood. I'm just saying, as a foreigner, and English is not my first language either.
English isn't my first language either, and I've busted a lot of English people about their own language, and I'm proud of it. But continue.
But this is why I'm saying, when the English don't want to learn other languages,
because they're lazy people.
They can't even learn their own. They can't even learn their own. But yet, they go to other people's countries and expect those people in those.
I think what the point is, what Turkish Afro is trying to say is that why is it that English people never get referred to as foreigners? Like, it's the same as the expats and immigrants argument. It's like, why do they always have their own?
Well, I suppose because they're in their country as it stands at the moment.
It's just, Inti, thank you so much. Fox has made a great point. Inti, what it is, I'm with you on this one. And what I was trying to explain is, I am proud of you, by the way, and I'm not going to brand you as a foreigner. I think you're a great human being to be where you are today, and English is a foreigner as far as I'm concerned. I'm not a foreigner. I'm a leader. I'm not a foreigner, my friend. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't call myself a foreigner. Sometimes I do. So I live in a Muslim country now. I moved 3 years ago, and I purposefully say to English people here, "Yeah, immigrants like us." I say that to them just to.
Yeah, well, I was told to go back on the boat the other day.
Like, what do you mean? What do you mean, immigrant? I'm not an immigrant. Yeah, you are. You've been here longer than me. You're an immigrant. You literally have settled here. But even in the chat, Hermit Sapien has said, and a white ex-friend said she wasn't a foreigner when abroad. LOL, colonial mindset. That's exactly what, that's exactly it. It's like they don't think that they're foreigners. I did say I was going to end the live, but I did have somebody come up here with British flags as their username. And I always think it's kind of interesting to hear what they have to say. Sorry, I'm still here, guys. What would you like to add? British flags ×3. What would you like to add?
Yo, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, thank you.
Good. What would you like to add to the chat?
I just want to get a basic understanding of like what you guys are talking about, because obviously I've joined a bit late.
Okay. Oh, well, yeah, I was wrapping up. So we've kind of gone away from the topic, but the topic is, why does real British history upset the English the most? My platform, what I'm doing is actually talking truthfully about the British history, like the bad stuff. Because you guys seem to just focus on the good stuff. So I talk about the bad stuff, and it seems to upset the English people, even though we're all affected by it. So that's the topic here. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I got you. So when you're talking about, like, obviously the bad things that we've done in the past, like in history, what things are you talking about? What events?
Oh, my Lord, have mercy. Where do we begin?
invading maybe the majority of the continents to start with.
Shall I be,
Because
let
you
me
were
be
too
very,
powerful.
Okay.
let me be very direct with you, British flags times 3. Do you think it's normal that a black woman like me should speak like this, with this accent, in this language?
Yes.
Why? Why is that normal?
Well, I'm not being funny. You said you was an immigrant, right?
Descendant of immigrants, yes.
Oh, okay, so you were actually, born in England.
I was born in Britain, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then I don't see why there would be any other reason for you to speak any other way.
So the point is, as I said, I am a black woman of Nigerian descent. Why do I speak as well as I do? Why is that normal to you? I should be speaking Yoruba in Nigeria because that's actually where my people are from. Like, you've got the privilege of speaking English in England. Why don't I speak Yoruba in Nigeria?
Because you're not in Nigeria, you're in England.
Why
I'm sorry,
am I not,
I'm really
why
confused.
am I not in Nigeria, dear? Why am I not in Nigeria?
Because obviously your family have decided to emigrate here in the past.
And why would they have done that?
For a better life, clearly.
And why would they have done that?
Because we conquered the world and we made use of all the resources that no one else wanted to use.
Yeah, it's always funny when they do that shit. British flags times 3. Do you know how old the Anglo-Saxon tribe is?
Sorry?
You know how old I'm assuming you're English, right?
Yeah.
How old is your tribe? Do you know?
My tribe? What, so like my direct family descendants?
No, as in the Anglo-Saxon tribe. Do you know when it was established, when your people were established as a tribe? Or when they came to the UK, let's say, and created the Anglo-Saxon, and created England? Do you know?
It was the early 700s, 800s.
No, it was 450 AD. Okay, so
Okay.
Your tribe is 1,500 years old. Logically, okay, so stick with me here. Do you know how old the human race is?
The human race.
Yeah.
We're going back a few thousand years here.
Yeah, quite a few thousand. Okay, shall I tell you how old the human race is?
Yeah, sure, if you want.
Yeah, it's 300,000 years old, okay? So
Okay.
human race is 300,000 years old. English tribe is 1,500 years old. What do you think was happening for almost the full 300,000 years on Earth?
I'm not sure. Why don't you tell me?
Oh, no, I don't need to tell you because you think that people were sitting around using no resources and doing nothing because you came and conquered everything in that short period of time. Because based on your assumption, you think we were all sitting around like, you thought that. You British flags times 3 in what you just said is you came here and conquered all of the things that people were not taking advantage of for 300,000 years.
Well, it's not 300,000 years. The British Empire started in the late 1500s.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's not
So,
3,000 years ago, is it? That's only 500 years ago.
Right, let's try again. Okay, human race is 300,000 years old. You came here and said that the British took advantage of all these resources and things like that people were not using. So in your mind, you think nobody had anything going on before you came along.
Well, obviously they did. You were fighting your own tribesmen. Your people were selling themselves to slave owners.
Do you have any original thoughts, British flag times 3?
Do you have a way of not being so condescending to people?
No,
just trying
because
to have a decent conversation with you.
Because I learned it from English people. So no, obviously I have this English accent and I have the English attitude plus the African attitude I was also born with as well. So no, I don't have another way of speaking that's not condescending because I learned it from your people, from growing up with you people. So you brought up there Africans and slaves, but again, you lot read from the same script. Please, I've just told you that human race is 300,000 years old. I'm not here to educate you because we've all got access to the internet. It's 2025. You all brag about, we created the internet, the World Wide Web, Tim Berners-Lee. Go and use his internet to update your knowledge, please.
What do I need to be updated about? This is what I don't understand.
About the British history, which I've just told you about, which affects me, why I'm here in the UK, why I was here in the UK. I don't live there anymore.
Sorry, so were your family persecuted in any way?
Yes.
How so?
Because my mother is from the Caribbean and she doesn't have lineage there in the Caribbean.
Yeah, because I'm not being funny, like I've already said before. The people where your mother lived, right, in any area of Nigeria.
Okay, I'm just sorry. I'm sorry to do this. I don't like meeting people, but we're going to get onto the topic of slavery, which I know, and I've said I was going to end the live. I've already talked about this earlier. I also have a video on my page about slavery. If you want, oh, he's dropped. Why did he drop for? British flags ×3. Why did you drop? Why did you literally just disappear in the conversation? For those of you who are interested actually about slavery, you are able to actually go to my page and understand the history of slavery. 2,000 years of Korean slavery, 50 million slaves that exist today in today's modern world. You all talk about Africans sold each other. Africa is a huge continent of 54 countries. The slavery that existed in Africa was to end debt, was to repay crimes, was for prostitution, for those things. The British Empire introduced chattel slavery, which was dehumanizing and didn't see humans as humans anymore. And they were tricked. That's right. They had manipulation. They were given many shiny things as well to say, hey, do you know what? We can use the slaves to do this, blah, 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 blah. Slavery was normal throughout the whole entire world. It was not just in Africa. You're being a bit ignorant because you don't understand that 1 in 3 people during Roman times were also slaves. 1 in 3. You were also enslaved by Romans. People in Judea, people in Egypt were also enslaved by the Romans. Slavery was normal throughout history. It was birthed in modern day Iraq. Mesopotamia used to be called. The British took advantage of the slavery systems that existed in Africa. When they took the 12 million enslaved people to the Americas, they treated them disgustingly. And that was not what was happening in the continent of Africa between the different villages. It was not happening like that. There was also prisoners of war as well that were also enslaved. And people gained freedom after, by the way. People gained freedom. The British, the trade went on for 400 years because they were like, hey, you're having children, you're going to be enslaved too. Hey, you're having children, you're going to be enslaved too. This is why you guys need to go and educate yourselves. The British education system is a bunch of bollocks. It doesn't teach you anything at all. It teaches you lies and propaganda. Go and read. Go on your Tim Berners-Lee internet and go and read some stuff. Right, we're done now. Definitely done. And also, last thing about slavery is that the Roman Empire didn't run on race and colonization. The British Empire did. You need to know that. The British Empire ran on racism and colonization. In that respect, the Romans were better than the British. Truthfully. Okay, good night, guys. We're definitely ending it there. Thank you so much for the gifts. Thank you to my wonderful mods as well. Hermit Sapien, CHB18. Thank you so much. Love you guys. Thank you, Turkish Afro, for coming up. Thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate you being up here, and hopefully you felt
How do I disconnect? I'm a bit old for this now.
Don't worry, I will end it and then we will all but hopefully what you were saying, I was reiterating what you were saying. Do you feel understood?
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, 100%. And there's more to me as I go along, and I will reveal more about myself because I feel that there is somebody out there like yourself who can complete what I went through in the UK. And I didn't have a bad life in the UK, but I had a very, very good life where I've had list off, in your words, the majority of English people who were educated by me, and I'm going to stop it there. Have a pleasant evening.
All right, I'm looking forward to hearing more about that.
Take care. Good night.
All right, take care, guys. Everybody, good night. Bye, everybody. Bye, Shady. Thank you for the comments. Thank you, MBFY. Thank you so much for the compliments. Thank you, Mr. Boschel, for being here. Barish as well. Thank you so much for the comments. Thank you, Mrs. A. Always good to see you here. Chan as well. Jangir. Also, always wonderful to see you here. At Tamimi, thank you so much. Jalen99, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I will try to be back on tomorrow as well. See you later, guys. Bye. I went on a lot longer than I expected. Bye.